Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool arcade repair video today. Now, if you are an avid watcher of our channel, then you may remember when we fixed our buddy Adam's Paperboy a while back. And he's got this Paperboy here. It's in pretty good shape. It's got some updated graphics on it. It's got a LCD screen in it instead of the original monitor, but it's, you know, it's a nice game. And we fixed it up for him, sent it back down to the beach. Now, it worked here for a while, everything was cool, and it worked down there for a little while, but after like a day or two, the thing screwed up again. So he sent it back to us, so we're going to look at it again. He said that he can't get an image on the screen or something like that, so we're going to look through it, work through it, see what we can figure out needs done, and then we'll send it back to him all buttoned up and working again, and see how long it lasts this time. I'm an optimistic person, so I think this will be the final repair on this. I think we'll get it going this time, and it'll just keep lasting and keep working and entertaining the fine customers of his establishment. So the first thing I'm going to do, anytime we get a game in that we don't know much about, that's just been moved or something, we take the back door off and look inside it and see if anything fell off or anything while it was being shipped. So we're going to look in the back, see if anything came loose, if anything's in the wrong spot, and then we'll plug it in and test it out. Back door opened up, everything looks real clean, looks like it's how it's supposed to be. I think that's about how it looked whenever we messed with it. And down here in the power supply, I think the gentleman that works for Adam called me about, he was messing with the power supply, doing something. I can't remember exactly what it was though, but so we might have a power supply issue, so we're going to check all the voltages and stuff. And then this is the other power supply. They ran a power supply for the top board and a power supply down there on the bottom for the bottom board, and this of course being the power brick. And then they have it's got an LCD monitor. If you hate those things, you have to realize on this game this needed a medium resolution 19-inch monitor. Very hard to find those. They're like hen's teeth. Is that a saying? Hen's teeth. Very hard to find. So they have put an LCD monitor in it. I don't really blame them. But they say that they're not getting any image on the monitor, so we might have to check that out. So everything looks clean, nothing's falling out of place or anything. So we're going to plug it up and see if it blows up. Alright, so we plugged it up. We are getting power on the CPU board, but look at this. This is actually the video board, and that LED is not lighting up all the way, so I'll bet that board's not getting the 5 volts it's supposed to get, which is going to be this power supply just below it, which is what we worked on before, so I'm going to have to look into that. So I'll bet that's going to be the problem. We're not getting power on that board again. So we'll figure that out. Let's look on the front here. No signal. Let's see if it may coin up. I don't know. Without that second board, I don't know that it would coin up, but we'll see if it does. If I can find the right keys. We're getting there. It's a very clean looking game. There's where they mounted the video board, which is cool. Alright, so we got nothing. Alright, so it's going to be the power supply again. Alright, that's cool. Well, at least we got somewhere to look. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look on the schematics and figure out what our voltages and stuff are supposed to be. Well, you know what, before that, let me check the fuses in the bottom of the game. So we'll check the fuses. I'll show you how to do that real quick. Alright, we're going to check the fuses real quick. I'm just going to turn it off. I've got my meter here. We're going to set it on ohms. Now usually I don't like to actually check it on the actual fuse like this. I like to go down even lower so that you're checking through the fuse, but I don't. I've already worked on this block one time. So, all right. So basically, you want it to go down to like 0 resistance. So it's 0.3, that's fine. My meter's off 0.2, by the way. 0.2, 0.3, bad, and 0.3. So this is the same one that it was blowing last time. You can see that I've replaced the connector, or somebody has. That was probably me, right? So this is the same one that we've been having trouble with. F3, it is a 20 amp. And this is a 20 amp fuse. Yeah, and see how you're getting a ton of resistance through it? It's not connected from one side to the other. It's because the fuse is blown. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is this power comes out of here and plugs into this main board. So we're going to unplug this power supply. Like that. Now the power's coming out and it's not going to anything. So we're going to put the 20 amp fuse back in, or a new 20 amp fuse back in it, turn it back on and see if it blows the fuse. If it does, then there's something wrong here. If it doesn't, then there's something wrong here. So we're going to put a 20 amp fuse back in it and see if it blows it with nothing else plugged in, and then we'll go from there. All right, I placed a new fuse in it. I didn't have a slow blow fuse though, which is what's supposed to be in there, I believe. Does it say? I believe it's supposed to be slow blow. We'll have to look here in a minute. But so this is a fast blow, a normal blow, so this may blow immediately anyway. But everything's unhooked. Let's see what we got. All right, I didn't see it blow, so perhaps we're good. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be something on the power supply on the other board though. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at the schematics and see what voltages we're supposed to be getting out of this thing. Here is the schematics of a Paperboy power supply, and F3 is the one that we've got that's blowing. 20 amp slow blow. SB stands for slow blow, so it needs to be a slow blow. Right? Now, see the little triangle and it says note 3. So if you go down here to note 3, it says use a 25 amp slow blow 32 volt fuse at F3 for the 0405 and 06 version of a blah 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 power supply. So we need to see if we've got the 4, 5, or 6 version of that power supply. If we do, that might be the whole problem. He's been having this problem with that fuse blowing over and over and over again. Excuse me. So that'd be crazy if that's it, but we'll see. And so all of the power comes out of that one connector that we disconnected. This is the pin out of it on the actual power brick. So I have written all of that down. Basically the part that's blowing, if you notice, is on this bridge rectifier. It's the AC input to this bridge rectifier, which then creates all of the 10 volt, which is which turned in all the other volt, or the 5 volts basically on the power supply board. So that game board isn't getting 5 volts, so that's why it's not up and running. It goes to this big capacitor here too, a big blue, right? I believe that's been replaced though, but we could probably check the ripple on that and see if it needs replaced. But our problem may be this bridge rectifier too. I believe they called me and said they were messing with that bridge rectifier, so maybe it's screwed up. I don't know. We might have to open that up and look at it. Yeah, we might have to look at that bridge rectifier. So I'll check real quick to see if we're getting our 10 volts out. Well, we'll check those voltages, and then maybe we'll open that sucker up and look at that bridge rectifier too, just to make sure. But yeah, let's do voltages first though. Okay, we're going to test it. We're going to test all the voltages just for giggles. So I've got the pin out of the connector down there, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check it on here, because this is where they all go. They go over here. So let's see what I've got. I've got a... There are... Unless it's not going to work like that. We've got some 60 volt AC wires, which are... Oh yeah, they're going up the other way, because that's what was running the monitor, I believe. There are two yellow wires that run the thing. Okay, the violet and the orange. Alright, so the violet and the orange, we're not going to check all the wiring because some of it goes the other way. So I guess we'll just focus on what we're interested in here. So the violet wires are the ground. We're going to set this sucker on DC. The violet wires are ground. Now I should have 10 volts on all of my three orange wires. I do not. Well, that's good. I have 1 volt. 1 volt. Okay, so either that fuse is blown again, or we got some problems with the bridge rectifier. So it's not putting out the right voltage, which means it's coming over to this power supply, and then the power supply is not making the right 5 volts to run the main bottom board. I think this is like pretty much like the exact same problem we had last time, so we thought we had it fixed, but maybe not. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this brick out and we'll look at it on the table. This is the bottom of it. So we got a couple, they soldered a couple wires on here. That was so that they could get more, this is the AC voltage. It's so that they can get more AC going out of it, because they have a fan hooked up, and also so they can hook up the LCD monitor, but whatever. That's not anything that would have anything to do with this. So what we want to look at is this transformer creates some voltages, and then it sends it over here to this bridge rectifier after it goes through that one fuse. So we want to see if this bridge rectifier is any good. Let me see here. Let me see what we've got. These bridges are usually marked. Let me see if I can take it off of there. Looks like it's loose. We might have to put a new one on it or something. Or I remember they called me something about this bridge. Okay, let's see if it's marked anywhere. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. So there's the positive. There's one of the AC connections. And then the one across from the positive will be the negative. And then the one across from the other AC will be the other AC connection. I think they've got it right. I believe that the two orange ones are the AC connections. The orange and black is positive. See, it goes over to the positive lead on this. And the purple and white is negative. It goes over to the negative lead on this. Now, all of that can be confirmed on the schematics. So we'll check that to make sure. But we're also going to test the bridge rectifier. So the way you test it is, I don't know if I can get all this in the shot. I believe we can. You set your meter on diode check. You find the positive and you put the negative, the black probe, on it. And then once you've done that, well, if I can get it all untangled, you put the positive probe on either one of the AC ones. So what this rectifier is doing is it's turning AC into DC. So see how you're getting 0.478? If it's like 0.4 to about 0.7, everything's cool. So that's cool. And then going this way, that's cool. These are basically all diodes. And then so This one we believe is fine. So since that's the positive, this would be the negative. So you take the positive probe and put it on the negative. And then you check from there to this AC, and that one's fine. You check from there to that AC, and that one's fine. So this bridge rectifier is fine. So our next thing we're going to look at is the fuse holder. The fuse holder looked a little screwy. I believe our problem is that this fuse holder is screwed up. See how this thing can move underneath that? Well, if you've got like a bunch of juice running through it, it doesn't like that kind of crap. That's not right. Look, the other one doesn't do it. These move, but it's not the actual little metal thing moving. It's the connector moving. But on this one, the whole thing moves. Look at that. That ain't right. Ain't no way that's right. I don't have one of these whole blocks. Or do I? I don't know if there's enough. Yeah, I don't have that whole thing. So I think I can take this apart though and solder it back together. So we're going to try that. What do you think about that? Okay, I put it back in. The fuse did not blow. I got some good solder on that fuse holder to get it where it's all back copacetic. Let me see if I can get this where everybody can see it. Maybe like that, maybe. Okay. So we got our connector again. We're going to check. Violet is ground. Orange is 10. 15, ooh. 15. And 15, all right. Well, that's an unregulated voltage. So, I don't know the best way to explain to people why it's all right that what's supposed to be 10.6 is actually 15, but basically it's not used for anything. It just comes over here to this board, and then the regulator over here regulates it and turns it into 5 volts. So our next step is we're going to plug that sucker in back into this power supply over here and see what happens. And it very well may blow that fuse, especially since we've got the you know what, I'd like to know if that's a 4, 5, or 6 version of that power supply like they were talking about. But it'll probably blow that fuse because we've got the fast blow. I'm going to have to order some slow blow ones, but we'll see. So let me plug it in and see what happens. It did not blow the fuse yet. That looks a little better, doesn't it? We still got that one up there. So what do you think? Is it up and running? I haven't heard it singing to us yet, but I don't know if it's got the track music on. Da, 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 da. Okay, now somebody was saying a long time ago, whenever I put up the first video, that I didn't have the color adjusted right. So I'm going to go back and look at that. Somebody was saying that the contrast wasn't right or something in one of the video test screens. So maybe we can make it a little better. But it looks like we're up and running. So I'm going to order some fuses and we'll go from there. Okay, so here in the manual it says color bar test. It says, let's see if we get this right, 16 vertical grayscale bars and 3 groups of 16 vertical bars with shades of red, green, or blue are displayed. The brightest bar should be on the left and the darkest bar, black, should be on the right with a black frame around the screen. Each group of red, green, or blue should be split in half horizontally to show 2 fade scales. Each upper fade scale is ranged by changes in overall intensity, and each lower fade scale by individual color intensity. This test helps to determine if white tracking is set properly. Grayscale bars range from white to gray. Refer to the white tracking procedure in the display manual if adjustment is required. Okay, so we're going to pull that up and see how that looks. Let's see if it sounds anything like that with that LCD monitor in there. Okay, for posterity's sake, we're going to record the settings on the Gonbee's video converter to make it work on a Paperboy. There's all these little settings in there that you have to get just right. So we're going to go into the test menu, though, and look at that color thing. If I can figure out how. That was easy. Press Start 2 to advance test. 1 coin, 1 credit. I thought he always wanted his on 50 cents. Adam, why don't you have it on 50, buddy?
Now you have a friend in the paper business.
Wasn't that something special? Boy, I like that they coded that in there for me. Okay. Everything's working. All right, we're all gravy, baby. Alphanumeric test. Boy, that looks great too. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's too bright. You should have 16 vertical bars. Instead, I've got 3. All right. Well, that gentleman, whoever told me that, was right. I went and looked for his comment. I couldn't find it again, so I don't know what happened. Okay, so we're going to go into the, so on a monitor, normally you would turn down the brightness or turn down the contrast because everything's too bright. There's not enough definition in everything. So on this, there's a little control board for this video converter that I've got to try to figure out. Let's see here. This says menu, that says up and down, and that says switch. Okay, so I'm going to go into the menu. And this is what your settings should be if you get one of these. So on geometry, horizontal position 70, vertical position 20, horizontal size 36, vertical size 50, clamp ST is 90, clamp SP is 95. Those clamp settings, if you don't set those something like that, you'll end up where the thing changes after it's on for a while. The screen will get real bright and screwed up. Okay, display, they've got it set on 1024 by 768. Language is set on English, of course. All right, so we're going up to picture. The brightness is 50, contrast is 50, saturation is 50, sharpness is 5. So let's see what happens when we turn down this contrast. That ain't doing it. All right, so that's not helping us. Let's put that back on 50. Brightness. Doesn't seem to be doing anything for us either. Let's put that back. Whoop. Perhaps the saturation. Man, that's not doing it either. Well, folks, this may be the best you can get on one of these. You know what? There are some little knobs on it now that I think about it. 50, 50, 50. Yeah, there are some little video knobs on it. So let's leave it like that. Let me grab a little screwdriver. There are some little red, green, and blue knobs. If I turn those, it might get it where we need to be. So we're trying to get where we can see some difference here. So let's see what all this does. Yeah. Let's see what this does. Yeah. Let's see what this does. Yeah, baby. I like it a lot. So is it supposed to be black all the way on one side? Let me go read the manual. Y'all stay right here, okay? Just stay where you're at. It says the brightest bar should be on the left and the darkest black bar on the right with a black frame around the screen. Each group of red, green, or blue should be split in half horizontally to show 2 fade scales. We got that. Each upper fade scale is ranged by changes in overall intensity, Z, and each lower fade scale by individual color intensity, red, green, and blue. This test helps to determine if white tracking is set properly. Grayscale bars range from white to gray. Okay. So I think what I might do is I'm going to turn it down just a little bit more until we get to where this last box is basically black, or maybe you can just barely see it. Maybe that'll give us just a little bit more contrast. So this is red, okay. So it's going to look a little different on the camera, but to my eye, I can barely see that last red one. And then green. I can barely see that last green one. And then blue. I can barely see that last blue one. Now, if you look at the white, the grayscale, it's a little too purple. So maybe we need a little bit more green. So that's so if you look over on the look at the white, so it's a little bit too green. That's about it. So it looks nice and gray. It may look different to you on the camera, but in person it looks pretty good. All right. Red. All right, so we're ready to go back out. Let's see what the gameplay looks like now. Looks pretty good. It might be too dark though. Hey, turn on the lights. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's a completely different game. Like, it looks a lot better like that. I filmed a whole video with it the other way. Pretty wild. Okay, I think maybe we'll turn up the brightness just a little bit. But, you know, the brightness didn't mess with that color scale. So we'll go back through to that. Okay, so the brightness alone, I don't think will change the contrast. Picture. Brightness. Yeah, so I don't think that changed anything, did it? I mean, it did make it made the image brighter, but it's not messing with our scale that we set up. Or is it? I think we're good. Let's see. I think what I'll do is maybe I'll edit in a little bit of the video how it was before, if I've got a good recording of that. So here's how it is now. And I will edit in how it was before. There he goes. There's the Paperboy. So they kind of show you what to do in the little intro there. Oh, there's a jump. So if you can jump, you get, what did it say, 200 points? Well, I don't know. You tell me. All right, now we got to test play it. You know this game's evil hard. I mean, it's so hard. Crazy hard. That ought to be enough. All right, let's see if I can remember how to play this sucker. Better do Easy Street. My customers, non-customers. Now, people were giving me crap before.
Does this mean no tip?
Oh boy, because I go too slow. Looks like there's a little something going on around the bike. I need to see if that stays like that. It's like a little bit of a glitch or something. I've done hit it 3 times. I'm trying to get out of the street. Y'all are in the way is the problem. I guess I should be delivering papers. I am the Paperboy. Paperboy calls it quits. Well, we're not calling it quits yet, but whoa. Let me move y'all out of the way so I can get into this crap. All right, let's try it again. My customers. And there's a little bit of lines around the Paperboy.
I need glasses.
Yeah, I do. God, what a hard game. All right. Well, it seems to be up and running, folks. There's a little bit of a little glitch around the Paperboy, but
I'm in slime.
maybe I should try to deliver 1 paper. Did that one count?
Body blow, uppercut, uppercut.
calls it quits. Accused of negligence and vandalism. All right, folks, I think that's it. We got it up and running again. I'll keep my eye. I gotta put the right fuse in it though. So basically, the whole problem with it, I believe whenever they called me before, there was something going on with the bridge rectifier that was making the fuse blow, and then once they put that new bridge rectifier in, I think the fuse holder was screwed up. Now that fuse actually was bad. We tested that. So maybe they had swapped the old fuse in or something. I don't know, but fixed the fuse holder. Everything's cool. So we'll put in the right slow blow fuse and we'll watch it a while. And I might look into that little RAM glitch thing, but stuff like that a lot of times gets really complex, really complicated. So whenever it's minor like that and he's operating it, I think we'll probably be all right with that. Like just a little line in front of the bike sometimes. Random little sprite glitch. But I think we'll call this one done. Leave your comments below. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. And we'll slap this one on the butt and send it back out to the arcade where people can enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed it. So leave your comments below and we will see you on the next video. Alright, so I started thinking about it and I never checked the power supply. So this board powers this board and it had been turned up so it was at like 5.7 volts. It's supposed to be at 5 volts. So it was pretty high. And then this board it was a little high too. It was 5.25 volts. So I turned this one down to 5.1 volts and I turned this one down to 5.1 volts and reset the game, of course. And I think that has fixed our sprite thing. So I think that's how it's supposed to be. So I think we're good. It's even better than it ever was. Alright, leave your comments below and we will see you on the next video.
I hate that kid.